मातरम वंदे मातरम सुजलां सुफलां मलयज शीतलां शस्य श्यामलां मातरं वंदे मातरम शुभ्रज्योत्स्ना पुलकितयामिनी कुसुमिता द्रुमदल शोभिनी सुहासिनी सुमधुर भाषिणी सुखदां वरदां मातरं वन्दे मातरम् कोटि कोटि कंठ कल कल निनाद करले खर खर वाले अबला मारक बोले बहुबल धारिणी नमामि तारिणी विपुदल वारिणी मातरम वंदे मातरम तुमि विद्या तुमि धर्म तुमि रिधि तुमि मर्म प्राणाः शरीरे बाहुते तुमि मा शक्ति हृदये तुमि मा भक्ति तुम्हारी प्रतिमा गढ़ी मंदिरे मंदिरे वंदे मातरम त्वं हि दुर्गा दश प्रहरण धारिणी विहारिणी वाणी विद्यादायिनी नमामि त्वां नमामि कमला ममला अतुला सुजला सुफलां मातरं वन्दे मातरम् श्यामला
भारत माता की जय।
Good evening, everyone. I think without much ado, we can get started. Mr. Arun, kindly take over.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Welcome to the last and final day of enhanced employee engagement for improved profitability. I hope I will be able to complete the session within a reasonable period of time today. And I hope you will find the takeaways, valuable for having extended and having consented to give me one more evening of your life. Let's start. I have this bad habit of starting off with some sort of a message every program. And today's session is also not going to be any different. I'm going to show you two pictures and I want you to tell me what is the takeaway from that picture? How is it an analogy for the current situation? On the left-hand side, you have Veda Vyasa writing the Mahabharata. And on the right-hand side, you have the sinner, Angulimal. He used to rob people, cut their fingers, and make a garland out of it and put it around his neck. On the left, you have a saint, and on the right, you have a sinner. How is this picture? What analogy can we draw from these two pictures to the current situation? Yes, would anyone like to take a guess?
Sir, that sinner is later turned into Valmiki, sir. And he also
Okay.
wrote a great epic Ramayana. So Vyasa wrote Mahabharata. So these are the two people, great two epics of Hindu culture.
Okay. Anybody else?
From the disengagement to the engagement is what is the story of Anguliman.
Ah,
And Vyasa is already engaged in whatever he is doing, and he is also
okay.
produced. So you can bring back even disengaged people to the engaged people.
Excellent. Anybody else? Anyone else? Take a guess. That will liven up the situation. You know, sir, it will liven up the class for what is going to follow. Come on, take a shot.
Sometimes it takes a Buddha to engage someone.
Who is that?
Samyak.
Okay, okay. Okay, we have had 3 replies. Wonderful takes. I also got something. Maybe, in the next session, I will use one of these analogies. The analogy here is there is a saint on one side. The unfortunate part about the saint is he cannot grow any further. He has already reached the pinnacle of the position or development which he has to reach. Vedavyasa has also given the Vedas. He has reached the pinnacle of the position. Whereas the sinner has got every opportunity to grow because he is at the lowest level. The industry is finding itself at the lowest level of its existence today because of the COVID. In the pre-COVID period, if any manager or any top man had gone to the board and told, we want to try engagement so that, our profitability will increase, our productivity will increase, what is it they would have said? They would have said, don't rock the boat. Allow things to be as it is. I don't want you to rock the boat. This is not the time to rock the boat by doing experiments. But friends, today, companies are finding itself in such a position. And they have seen that even before COVID, things were not working very well for them. There were lots and lots and lots of problems. And today, COVID has made the situation even worse. Under the circumstances, it would be an intelligent strategy to try out engagement. Maybe, that could be the answer. Let's jump into the disengagement diagnostics for a person. As I was telling, there are different levels at which the disengagement can happen. Disengagement can happen for an individual at the level of the organization. Disengagement can happen to an individual at the level of the leadership. Disengagement can happen to an individual at the level of his peers, at the level of his work, or within himself. Let us see the same workplace attitude index tool, slightly modified, how it will help you to find out at which level disengagement has happened for you. How will you structure this tool to identify whether you are engaged where the company is concerned or not? The question you will ask here, you see, what you'll have to do is at the denominator, that is at the expectation level, you put 30 or 35. Who will put 35? All those people who are type A personalities, who are obsessed and who are perfectionists in nature, they should put a denominator of 35. And all those people who are not perfectionists, who are not obsessed, but generally relaxed and are willing to give certain amount of leverage to everything, they can put a denominator of 30. Then put these questions and understand the experience and find out the experience score. Okay. Now, for the experience here will be my organization is purpose driven. There are 7 points here: strongly disagree, slightly disagree, disagree, neutral, agree, slightly agree, and strongly agree. Write the number here. The next question is, I know its objectives. Do you know the objectives of the organization? Are you clear where the organization is going at the current moment? Number 3, my value and career goals are aligned with the organization's. How do you see what you are doing, what your values are and where your career goals are they in alignment with the organization's goals and values? Then, is the treatment from the organization fair? And finally, I am recognized and compensated by my organization for the contribution. Write all these points, take down the total of it, put it as a nominator, and then check the index ratio. Just take half a minute to do this. Even the business leaders can do it. For them, obviously, they will not have any, the organization is there. So this will help them see whether the organization represents their dream or not. Whether the organization has developed into what they wanted it to develop as. So we will go on to the next. Is it okay? Have you all noted down the figures?
Sir, one second.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Sir.
Okay. Please tell me when you are ready. Just give me a call, sir, boss. Okay.
Yeah.
This is to be kept confidential within yourself. Please don't share this with anybody else.
Sure, sir. Sure.
Can we move on?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. Now let us go to the next. About your leader, the person you are reporting to. Here, the managing directors and the business owners can use the business environment and the authorities as their leaders and reply. My leader is capable. He is caring and considerate. He is supportive. The points will start from 1 mark for strongly disagree to 7 mark for strongly agree. Third, he challenges and pushes me to the limits of my capabilities. If people are underutilized, they get bored and frustrated. If they are overpressurized and overburdened, their productivity will come down, they will become stressed. So a good leader should always stretch his team members and subordinates to the extent that they can take, not beyond that. Like, rubber band, you pull to the extent that it can take, it will come back to its original shape. But if you pull it beyond a limit, it will break. And finally, you have the question, he acts as my brand ambassador because he is the one who has to represent your interest to the organization. Does he project you correctly? Does he give you credit in the front of the leadership, or does he steal your credit?
Can I ask something, Arun sir?
Yes, yes, definitely, Deepak sir.
Deepak Kalro here. The second
Abuji.
chart is to be between the, it is to be sort of assessed by whom, for whom?
You see, you are a business leader, you are a business owner.
Yeah.
For you, your boss is the government agencies and the business environment in which you are doing business. Is the business environment in which you are doing business capable of serving your purpose? Is it caring and considerate, or is it unreasonable? Is it supportive of your plans? Does it push you, challenge you to the limits of your capabilities, or it stretches you so much that you are likely to break?
No, the questions are clear, but what is the main question? What is it that I have to think about? Business environment, you said, isn't it?
Business environment. How is the business environment in which you are doing business?
I'm a trader, so for me, what will be the question? I think like environment.
The business environment is all the rules and regulations, the formalities, okay, the political condition, the economic condition, the support you get from the banks.
So here he means who?
All this put together, how do you feel? How do you feel? You know, the ease of doing business
Okay,
that
that
we
is the
talk about.
condition. Okay, the condition.
Conditions.
How?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Okay,
you see,
okay.
as a
I got it.
business
Yeah,
leader, as the owner, you don't have anyone you are reporting to. You are reporting to the authorities.
Correct. True.
See, this will let you know whether you are feeling comfortable doing business or basically you are feeling uncomfortable doing business.
Okay. Right.
Because you
Fine.
see, if
Thank
you
you.
feel uncomfortable doing business, you will not enjoy the act of doing business, then everything else will collapse.
Yeah. Correct. Thank you.
Can we move on? Can we go to the third point?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now we come to peers. When I say peers, I mean all the people who are around you and your team. My peers are capable. Supposing, let us say, you are part of a 10-member team.
Sir, one question. In the
Yes.
second chart regarding the denominator, how we should...
See, supposing you are a person who is a type A personality, you are a perfectionist. For you, the denominator will always be 35 because you will demand that you get only the best.
Okay.
But supposing you are not such a finicky person, you are not such a obsessive person, you are not such a demanding person, then you'll say, chalo yaar, theek hai. You know, even if I get slightly agree, that's okay. So you can put 30. This is to ensure that with your nature, the denominator can change. It can be anywhere. You can give a common denominator to all these 5 between 30 and 35.
Okay, sir. Okay.
And then on top, you put whatever total you are getting for each of this. Then we will see. Okay?
Okay.
Here, my peers are capable. Your team members, all those people you are working with are capable. They are trustworthy. We collaborate. We stand in for each other. We respect each other's sensitivities.
Here, PS can mean even the associate partners.
Yes. For a business leader, it will be the other members of the board. For a joint, a family concern, it could be the brothers, nephews, nieces who are all part of the decision-making process.
Okay.
Supposing there are 3-4 directors in a company, then it will be those 3-4 people, how they relate to each other, what it is. Please be honest to yourself. This is not, you are not going to show it to anybody. You are only going to be diagnosing what exactly is the state of your psychological makeup where your organization is concerned. See, because
Arun sir, in
growing.
this, sorry, in
No.
this chart, agree is 5, slightly agree is 6.
That means you are slightly above agree.
Okay, so agree
Slightly
more.
above agree.
Yeah, agree more.
And very strongly agree. Agree is, chalo, theek hai, I agree.
Yeah, correct.
Ah.
Okay.
When you are not very sure that you strongly agree, but you agree, then it will come as slightly agree.
Correct. I understand. Even in spite of difference of opinion, you still do the commonly decided action.
Can we move on to the next?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Now we come to your work. I am doing what I love to do. My job responsibility is well defined. I am contributing to the organization's growth. I look forward to going to work every day. There is autonomy in how I can do my work.
Arun sir, in chart 1, it was denominator was 30 or 35 as per our choice. And chart 2, 3, 4, what is the denominator?
All will be the denominator will be the same because your expectation, Deepak ji, you see, if you are very passionate and demanding about what you want to do, your denominator will always be 35. If you are going to be, you are a demanding person, I think you are, because even at this age, you want to understand how to do business better. So you must be a very demanding person, a type A personality. So your denominator will be 35 always. At the expectation level, put it as 35 and then do the total of this and put it at the experience level.
Okay, fine, good.
Mr. Anantakrishnan, can you mute, please? I can hear some noise coming from the background. Thank you. Now we move on to the next one. About yourself. I have the capability for doing my job effectively. I am respected by my company and colleagues. My compensation is in tune with industry standards. My career growth plan is well defined. My work-life balance is satisfactory. With the denominator as 30 to 35, that is at the expectation you are putting 30 to 35. And the experience, please total each one individually and against each, that is organization, what is the percentage? Against leadership, what is the percentage? Against peers, what is the percentage? Against your work, what is the percentage? Against yourself, what is the percentage you put? And keep a Haji. Yeah, unmute. Deepak ji, unmute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Know how to work at my work-life balance satisfaction. How to arrive at that.
Are you happy with the amount of time you are able to give to your family members? Are your family members complaining that you don't have time for them?
Okay.
Are you spending time with your children? Do you have a social life?
Okay. I understand. Thank you.
Whatever you are earning, are you in a position to enjoy that by going out or do whatever you want?
Yeah, clear.
Arun sir?
Yes, who is it?
Yeah, Srinivasan.
Yeah, tell me, Srinivas.
Yes, sir. Can you please repeat the 5 things, sir? Because my line got disconnected in between. So.
Which 5? This 5, huh?
Yeah.
In this self.
Yes, sir.
In which 5 you are talking?
No, you said peers, organization, yourself.
Okay, the first is organization. Okay. You have written, you have made the marks for the organization you have written. Okay. Yeah. Now, total that, put it as a nominator, calculate the ratio. Okay, boss. Okay. Supposing it has come, say, 25 divided by 35, what is the amount? Okay. Into 100 will be the percentage. Right, sir. Then you come to leadership. Okay. That is your immediate boss. Leadership means is always the immediate boss. Okay, sir. What is the percentage which is coming? Then you come to peers. All those people, same rank and your team members. Okay. Check that. Right, sir. What is it? What percentage is coming? Note it down against peers. Okay. Then you come to your work. Are you doing what you love? And all those points are there. What is the amount coming? What percentage is coming for that? Note it and keep it. Okay. Then finally about yourself. Okay. Yeah, thank you very much. Do you find you have the capability of doing your job effectively, or do you require any, extra capabilities are to be acquired? Okay. What is the percentage? Supposing you say you feel that, yes, I'm totally capable of doing my job, and you strongly feel that, then it will be 7. You feel that I'm not very sure, but I have got the capability, that will be 6. Okay. Now, if you feel that Yes, I have capability, but I could do with some more. Then it will come to 5.
Right, sir.
You are unable to decide, it will be 4.
Okay.
You feel that you are not capable, but not incapable also, chalta hai, it will be 3.
Okay.
Like that. You understand what I mean?
Yeah, I got it, sir. Thank you.
It is all subjective.
Okay.
It's only a question of how you feel.
Okay. Okay.
Then I am respected by my company and colleagues.
Right,
My
sir.
compensation is in tune with company's industry standards. Do you feel you are being compensated adequately?
Okay.
Then are you sure which direction your career is going in your current job?
Okay.
And then finally, are you able to have the best of both the worlds? Your work life is also good. You are able to devote time to your family, your friends, and your social life also. Your work-life balance is good.
Right, sir. Thank you, sir.
All the 5 percentages you people have got? Yes, friends? Can I have an answer?
Yes, sir.
Can we move on?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I mean, I'm done. Yes, yes.
Huh?
Yes, yes. Please proceed.
Okay. Now, in all these 5 areas, what if you have got 0 to 40%? That area is a major cause for your disengagement, dissatisfaction, frustration, and unhappiness. You need to very seriously work on that, 0 to 40%. Anything between 41 to 60%, it's not a reason for
Sir,
concern.
can you come back again, sir?
Is it both? If you have got 40% in any of these 5 areas, 0 to 40%, then it is an area of serious concern. If at the organizational level, your answers, the nominator comes to something like, say, 15. 15 divided by 35 into 100, it's coming to 45, approximately, isn't it? So you see, okay, nothing very serious. But if it has come to 10, 10 divided by 35 into 100, then there is a serious problem. It's only 30.
Correct.
Then there is a very, very serious problem. You are thoroughly disengaged with your organization.
Yeah.
Even if the other areas are strong, this is a matter of concern. You'll have to start working on it. Now we will see how to do that. Don't worry.
Okay.
Like this, you work out the percentage.
Yeah.
When you work out the percentage, 0 to 40% is very poor. It is a reason for serious concern. That is the area where you are disengaged. Some people might have very good percentages in company, very good percentage with peers, work and self, but in the case of leadership, they might have very poor percentage. That means they don't like their boss and they are suffering. And that is causing disengagement and it can become a serious threat. You need to start working on that because you see, ultimately, at a leadership level, which is what all the people who here are, the responsibility for engagement is yours. You will have to take up on yourself the responsibility of creating the engagement. Well, yes, we will see how the organization should go about creating engagement in everybody. But you as a leader should also assume the responsibility for your personal engagement because otherwise your life will get spoiled. Your career will get spoiled. So you see, first find out what is the percentage for the organization, what is the percentage for leadership, what is the percentage for your peers, what is the percentage for your work, and what is the percentage for yourself. Then, depending upon which is a matter of priority, start working on it. Whichever is a matter of priority, start working on it. Each of these address a particular need. I have the capability of doing my job. Rooms, expectancy theory. I am respected by my company and colleagues, social exchange theory. My compensation is tuned with industry standards, Adams equity theory. You understand what I mean? Like this, you know, each one is addressing a particular aspect of your life, of your thinking. So you'll have to start working, find out where the attack is there, and then you start working on it, find out why you're feeling like that, how you can re-engineer your behavior so that things get settled. Now, can we move forward so that we can see what our strategy should be at each of the level?
Yeah, one question.
In the charts working,
Yes.
I have a
Yeah.
small doubt, Arunji.
Yeah, boli puchiye.
See, the assessment we are doing is ourselves.
Yeah, it is for
ourselves.
you, not for
Yeah,
others.
correct.
This is
So-
only for you.
So how am I sure that my assessment about myself or whatever I am assessing is correct?
Deepak ji,
Yeah.
who is the person to whom you can never lie?
Who is the person to whom?
To whom you can never tell a lie?
Myself only.
Then to
but
anyone
putting
else
into-
you can lie. But you see,
No,
you
no.
will never be able to lie to yourself.
So you
You see,
mean
if
that
you
we
do-
don't have to undertake this, our
No,
employees
you
as
should
business?
not tell it to anybody. This
No,
is
but-
only for you.
But if we take this diagnostic on our employees and get their responses,
No, never. They will not tell you. Why should you go and do it on your employees? For your employees, you got the workplace attitude test. That will tell you. And then the 7 drivers will ensure that for a large, you see, when you do crowdsourcing, you will have to go in with a, you know, generic treatment. This is to take care. See, you know, as they say in Sanskrit, yatha raja tatha praja. You as a leader, if you understand what the problem is with you and you start correcting it, Mr. Anantakrishnan, can you please mute?
So it's not from my this, sir, my
But
background.
still mute it. No, doesn't matter. Please mute it.
No, I'm sorry. It was from my side. I'm sorry.
Okay, sir. You also mute it.
I'm going to do it. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Now, what I'm telling is, you see, as an organization, we are going to be seeing next the 7 drivers which drives engagement. But just telling that the organization, the people should become engaged, but I will continue to remain the way I am will not work. Because you are the driver who is going to drive those 7 drivers. You are the engine which is going to pull all the 7 bogies. So it is absolutely essential that you do an analysis of where you are disengaged and then address that issue. And addressing it is very simple. It is not at all complex, I'm telling you. It's a very simple solution. And once we see this, you will realize that it's not going to be an earth-shaking thing. It's going to take some amount of courage, and understanding will get you that courage. You are all courageous people. There is no paucity of courage in any of us. We will be able to do it. You see, this analysis has clearly shown you where exactly you are, disengaged to what extent, where exactly you are engaged and to what extent. Supposing you have very high engagement level in all these 5. Excellent. It's not necessary at all that any of you should be disengaged in any of these levels. Then it will be a cakewalk for you to understand and implement the 7 drivers. And in the event of your being disengaged somewhere, let us see what it is we have to do. Where are you disengaged? Now, as I was asking Mr. Deepak Kalro, who is the one person you can never lie to? It is yourself.
Oneself.
You can't lie to yourself. And now, how do you tell the truth? Do you tell the truth to yourself? दीपक जी जरा म्यूट कर दीजिएगा प्लीज. See, do we tell ourselves the truth? Where do we tell ourselves the truth? Can anyone answer? How we tell ourselves the truth? Whoever wants to answer, please unmute and answer me. How do we tell ourselves the truth?
By becoming aware of our strengths and weakness.
How do we tell ourselves the truth? We tell ourselves the truth. How? Awareness and telling are two different things. How
By
do we tell?
acknowledging the things.
How?
No, by analyzing clearly and then reporting it to oneself.
By correcting our behavior.
Eh?
By correcting our behavior.
How do we tell ourselves the truth? All these are activities which you are all telling.
Yeah.
How do we tell our truth?
By the way we are made to
realize
feel.
that we are in a problem.
Huh?
By the way we are made to feel. If,
By putting it down, whatever
we
is the
realize
right,
that we are in a problem.
by jotting down the whatever is the truth, putting in black and white, and then making something.
How are you telling me your answer?
By communicating.
Speaking.
By talking, isn't it?
Yeah.
By communicating in
Myself,
words
sir.
and language, isn't it? How do you tell yourself the truth?
Sir, this can be told in a different way. To me, I feel through our body language, and second through our actions, and through our peers, passing the message through different persons. So these are the three areas how we could convey our feelings.
Okay. Now tell me, how are you conveying your feeling to me? How are you telling your message to me?
Talking with ourselves.
You are? Correct, Dr. Deep. The way we tell ourselves the truth is through our self-talk. Our self-talk, what our self-talk is, if we observe it for half a minute, we will understand what exactly is the truth that is which we are experiencing. Now, align it with the percentage that you have given. Now, I am going to show you if a person has got 35 out of 35 or even say 25 out of 35, what will be the self-talk within him? At the organization level, you will feel proud. You'll say, I worked for this organization. Check. What is the percentage coming and how do you feel about it? Do you feel sad that you work for the organization, or you feel happy that you work for the organization? You feel proud that you work for the organization? You're pained that you work for the organization? You would rather you did not work for the organization? What is the state you will be telling yourself based upon the percentage that you have achieved? At the next level, I work for him. As they say, people don't leave a company, they leave a boss. They don't work for a company, they work for a boss. Check. The direct supervisor is competent and ethical. You have a lot of respect for him. You feel proud. You say, I work for him. How many times have we said, yes, yes, I have worked under him. He's a great guy. We remember bosses who have contributed to our growth, for whom we have had great respect. What is the self-talk? What are you telling yourself? Third, I work with them. How proudly you say, our team is so great, we gel very well. Competent, cooperative, honest, supportive. Does your self-talk match the percentage that you have got. Then your work, this is my work. If you find it challenging, rewarding, interesting, you will show it proudly. I do this work. How proud are you of the work that you are doing? And finally, an individual respected by organization, supervisor, and peers always says, my company. That term, that phrase, my company, are you using it frequently? When a company respects you, when a company treats you fairly, when you know your job and you're contributing to the company's growth, when the company is a reason for your prosperity and happiness, you will always refer to it as my company. Check whether this self-talk is there inside you, or the self-talk is different. Is there hesitancy in saying any of these things? If there is a hesitancy, that means there is disengagement. At least some amount of disengagement. See, nobody is going to be 100% engaged. There will be reasons for disengagement, some amount, but the majority percentage should be towards engagement. That means if you are 50 plus percentage, you are in a safe margin. 40 to 50, there is scope for improvement. 50 to 60, you are, almost engaged or slightly engaged. 60 and above, you are very well engaged. You are very passionate about your work. You are one of the pillars on which the organization stands. Now let us see, let's move on to how we can work on it. Can I have some feedback? How are the percentages? How do you people feel? Does it align? Does the self-talk align with the percentages? Can I have some feedback, please?
I think yes, sir. I think yes. I think yes.
Who is speaking?
Sir, this is both Srinivas.
You feel it is aligned?
Yeah.
Anyone else?
Sir, I also made Anantha Krishnan. It is perfectly aligning, sir.
Okay. Mr.
What do you mean by aligned?
I mean, is it
What
the
do you mean by
percentage you have
aligned?
taken out with the self-talk?
Yeah.
Is it matching?
Yeah.
मैच कर रहा है क्या? Is it matching?
मैच कर रहा है किससे?
यानी आप जो percentage बनाए हैं, the
हाँ,
percentage you
बराबर
have got, is the self-talk matching that?
In this last chart, that is where you are disengaged. In that chart?
Yes. No, what I'm saying is these are the self-talk that you have. Supposing you have got a very low percentage somewhere, disengagement is there.
Yeah.
And then, the self-talk of that area will not match. That this self-talk will not come there.
Okay,
if you are not happy, if you are not happy with the peers, then you will not say, I work with them. You will say, where I have to work, what sort of a people I have to work with.
Okay. Now I got it. This chart is sum total of all the 5 charts. Or the essence of the
this
5
chart will, each individual it is addressing. Your organization, whatever the percentage is coming, if you are not happy with the organization, then you will not say. You will feel bad, that you have to work there. You will always think, when I can leave this company and go to some other company.
Correct. But in my previous 5 charts, say, for example, my ratio is around 60%. In some 65, some 55.
If you have got 65%, then each of these sentences will work out. That is exactly what you will think.
Okay, I understand now. Yeah.
If it is 40% and below, you will think exactly the opposite of this. If it is 40 to 60%, you will have hesitancy to reject this and hesitancy to accept it.
Okay, I understand
You
this
will
point.
say, you know, the organization is okay, yaar, chalta hai, it's okay. That sort of an attitude will be there for 40 to 60. Above 60, you will proudly say, I work for this organization. Below 60, you will curse yourself for being in that organization.
Okay, that's fine. So this chart is about our own opinion, about our, in my case, my own company.
Yes.
So here I have all the agreements, but the disengagement lies with my staff, workers.
Then
So,
in this peers and team area, you will have very poor percentage.
okay,
In
so
the
I'll have to
team
work
and
on
peers area, you will have very poor percentage if you are dissatisfied with your team. Then in your peer team area, you will have below 40. Yes, Christiana? You can unmute,
I have
Christiana.
one doubt.
Tell me.
So, yes. So, does this vary with a person who? Does this vary with the duration? Like, let's say a person who stays 0 to 2 years in an organization will try to be more benevolent in scoring than a person who stays, like, let's say up to 5 years or 6 years. In that way, how should we view this?
You see, it will all depend upon how demanding you are from the environment in which you are. Some people are very demanding. Some people, see, the very word you use, benevolent, says that you are not a very demanding person. You are a person who is very accommodative. You are, forgiving to a fault. You give a person a lot of leverage. You are a people person. People person should always put a denominator of 30, not 35.
Okay.
Because you see, people person are very forgiving to a fault and they give a lot of leverage. They say, okay, wait, let us wait and see what happens.
Yes.
They will not, outright reject something, say nothing doing, I will not accept. I want the best from day one. I am giving the best, so why should I accept anything less than the best? That is a type A personality. You are not that. The very, fact that you use the word benevolent, I'm sticking my neck out and making a comment, but your sentence contains that benevolent, which says you are not that sort of a person. So I would suggest you put 30 as a denominator and calculate all the figures.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else would like to give their opinion about whether it is matching or not? Any doubts?
I have a small doubt, Arun sir.
Boliye ji.
Because you clarified that it should come in peers. I do think it may take long time, so we'll come back to it later on or tomorrow. I'll talk to you personally.
Sure. Most
okay.
No
Yeah,
issue.
Sure.
Next. So you see, now let us take this as an organization. The lower part, the foot part, is the foot soldiers or the first tier of the management. The second part, the supervisors or the immediate superiors, is the middle management. And the third are the policymakers. Here, the leg, then comes the heart, then comes the head. So how do we move? First, when you have to address your disengagement, the only person you can address it with your immediate superior, who also happens to be your boss. He is the organization for you. Now, when you want to correct your thing, you go to the boss. And when you want to correct those, in the middle management people, all those middle management people who are here, they will have to address it in two ways. They will have to address the foot as well as the heart. And the top management will have to address only with the top level, with the third part. First, let us see what is the first part. The first part, the leg acts. It is a mobility instrument. ACT is an acronym for assess. The employee has to first access. What does he have to access? His goals and the drivers of those goals. His goals and the drivers of his goal. Why has he taken this employment? What is his goal? And what are the drivers of the goal? Means what is the end viewpoint which will give him the satisfaction and happiness? Are you in employment to earn money? Are you in employment to earn position? Are you in what is it which will give you happiness? See, some people will get happiness if they earn a lot of money. Money will be the primary concern. But for others, the concern will be career growth. For some others, it will be social position. For some others, it will be achievement. So you see, what only you know what is your goal and what is driving you for that goal. Why do you want money? See, let us assume, for instance, somebody had a childhood experience of a great reversal in family fortunes, and it got drummed into him that he has to earn money. Now, nothing you do will change him from going for money throughout his life. So you see, what is it which is the driver? Now, where can you do, what can you do about it? If you have to get your engagement with the organization, with others clear, the only person who can help you in this is your immediate superior. Because he is the one who decides everything. What is your job design? Who you work with? What is the work that you are going to do? What responsibilities you are going to get? How he is going to project you? Everything is being decided by him only. He is the organization. He is the sum and substance of everything that you are doing. All the five put together comes into your boss. So you need to first communicate to him the goal, not the drivers. For instance, there are meetings with your boss. There are review meetings. There are, various other meetings. In one of those meetings, after you have done this, take time out and talk to him. Tell him, Mr. XYZ, I want to discuss something very important about my career with you. This is my goal. Let us say you want to become, you are a frontline manager, you want to become a third line manager, promotion is your goal. And that in 5 years time, you want to become a third line manager. You tell him, I want to become a third line manager in 5 years. In this industry, please tell me, is my goal in alignment with the organization's goal? What capabilities do I have to acquire so that I can achieve it? What performance do I have to show so that I can reach there? In what way can the company support and help me in my objective? Tell it to him clearly. Two things will happen. Number one, your boss will know that you harbor such a thought. Number two, he will know that if he is not going to fulfill this, then the chances of your continuing with him will be remote. And if you are a valuable member of the team and if you are serious, because when you have the courage to go and tell it, you definitely are a capable person. He will not want to lose you. And then he will give you the roadmap necessary. And then you take action. Taking action is your responsibility. Now, this could be at any level. It could be at the level of a frontline manager, at the level of a second line manager, at the level of a general manager, or even at the level of a vice president. The moment you see that there is a disengagement somewhere which is causing concern, you take it up with your boss access the information as to what your goals are and what are the drivers, what will give you the happiness. Communicate it clearly to your boss. Discuss with him the action plan for manifesting it, and then take action, visible action, so that your boss also sees that you are serious about it. You are not just using it as a tool of threat. He should see that you are very serious about it. Any questions?
Can I see the previous chart with the man's figure?
ये तो आपको वीडियो ही मिलने वाला है, आप क्यों फिक्र कर रहे
That's correct, but I'm just taking snapshots so that it becomes easy for me to go to whichever point I want, whenever I want, immediately.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any questions from anyone about this? Any clarifications required? Okay, then we'll move on to the next. Now we come to the heart part of it, which is the care part of it. Supposing you are a middle level manager and you find that there is a disengagement, the first thing you will do is do the act part with your boss. And for the person act who has come to you from your subordinate, what you will do? Manager will ensure that the coaching relationship with the team is checked. Are you doing the correct coaching for the team? Are you coaching the team? How is your coaching relationship with the team? Next. Align your subordinate interests, talents, and aspirations with the organization's goals. A person has come and told you that I have this sort of an objective, I have this sort of a goal. Within so and so years, let us say he comes and tells, I want to reach this sort of a salary level at this time. I am interested in earning more money. Money is of importance to me. Now, how do you align his interests, his talents, and his aspirations, his ambitions with the organization goals? As we saw yesterday, the compensation strategy clearly shows that any sort of a compensation has to be linked to a certain degree of productivity. How does this match? How can you align your subordinates' interests, talents, and aspirations with the organization's goal? That should be your next step. The third, recognize and appreciate the discretionary efforts made to achieve results. You see, we told that he has to act. When you have given him an alignment, when you have told him what are the extra capabilities he has to acquire, and when you have put into place training modules or support modules which will help him to acquire those capabilities, now whatever you please recognize and appreciate the discretionary effort he is making, because in that current position he is going to be planning for a future position. So there will be a lot of discretionary effort which he will have to make. Recognize and appreciate that so that those behaviors are reinforced. And finally, engage with him, engage with the team for the best results. Be in constant touch. Use the feed-forward mechanism to constantly realign with the objectives. CARE stands for coaching relationship. Align the subordinates' interests and talents. Recognize and appreciate discretionary effort. And finally, engage with the team on a constant basis through feed-forward mechanism. Any questions? In case something is not clear, please ask. Should we move on?
Okay, sir.
Hello?
I feel we can
I
move
have
on.
a query.
Who is it?
Sir, Bose Srinivas.
Yes, tell me, Sriyas.
I mean, sir, this is I am asking as a hypothetical. Suppose there is an employee. Particularly at the alignment part. Suppose in that particular BDM believes, that particular employee believes in lots of incentives and these kind of system.
Okay.
Money is his top priority apart from
Yes.
his career growth and everything.
Yes.
Wherein organization have a money incentive policy or something which may not be finding common path with the employee. Okay, so then a manager, how should he make that particular employee align to the organization goals and all?
You see,
Because this is what day in and day out we face. So I thought of
absolutely, boss, you are 100% right. This is a problem which every organization in its sales team faces.
Yeah.
Sales representatives, they want to earn a lot of money.
Correct.
Maybe your incentive structure does not support it.
Correct.
Or maybe, the amount of business which has to be procured to earn that much of money might be astronomical.
Correct.
And he might not be in a position to do that. That's what you are trying to tell, isn't it?
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely.
A person comes and tells you that, sir, my current earning is 40,000 rupees per month, salary and incentives put together.
Yeah.
But my ambition is I want to earn 1 lakh rupees per month.
Correct.
Whether you give it as salary or whether you give it as incentive is your business. But I want you to show me a roadmap by which I can earn this. Right?
Yeah.
Now, every organization has a calculation that what amount of productivity should come for what expenditure on an individual.
True.
Like for instance, let me say, companies normally operate at 20 to 22%. That means 1:5, 1:7 ratio the company should get based upon the expenses made on an individual. Let us say it varies from industry to industry, but I'm just taking a ballpark figure.
Correct.
Supposing a person wants to earn 1 lakh rupees a month, his current earning is at 40,000. First check whether for the 40,000 rupees he is giving you 2 lakhs to 2,80,000 rupees return or not. That is the first thing to see.
Yeah.
Now this person who has come to you must definitely be a good performer, otherwise he will not have the courage to talk like this.
True.
If he is a good performer, you respect him and he also understands that he is doing well. He must be doing this 2 lakh to 2,80,000. You tell him that, you see, I fully agree with you. I will definitely help you. Let us sit down and make a plan. The only thing is, you see, as per company norms, you don't have to tell him this 1.5, 1 to 5, 1 to 7 and all that.
Correct.
You tell him that currently you are getting 40,000 and you are producing this much.
Yeah.
Double that if you produce, you will get 80,000. That is if he's doing 280, 560.
Yeah.
And if you want to reach 1 lakh rupees, you will have to produce this much.
Yeah.
Should we sit down and plan how you can do that? And how long it will take? You tell me.
Okay. Got it.
If you can do it in 3 months, I will talk to the management and get you in 3 months, because ultimately the company is interested in return for its investment.
Yeah. So I think one point here which is very clear is even the manager also should be aware of what is the expectancy of that particular employee in terms of productivity, because that he have to facilitate. So
You
he
see,
also have to
engagement, Srinivas, is all about mutual trust, transparency. We have discussed all these things, isn't it?
Getting it. Yeah.
You see, if you want to build an engaged company, there has to be total trust and transparency between everyone. And there is something called accountability. You just cannot go and ask, give me 1 lakh. Who will give?
True. Very much. Understood, sir. I think I got it clearly.
If you go step by step, you will definitely be able to do it. Only thing is, we have to be sequential in whatever we do. We have to be patient. We have to respect the other person.
Yeah.
Many managers get upset when their subordinates make such statements. That should not happen.
Yeah.
Today's vice president was yesterday's representative.
Yes.
So today the boy who is sitting in front of you making all these vague demands is going to be at the top level one day, and people are going to make these vague demands to him also.
Correct, sir. Very much true. Yeah.
Can we move on to the next?
Yes, sir, surely.
You see, at the top
Thanks
most...
for clarification.
Huh?
I'm thanking you for the clarification.
Thank you. Most welcome. Now, at the topmost level, that is a very, very critical thing, because when there is disengagement at the managing director's level, what do you do? Supposing, let us say, a managing director is frustrated at the way the company is going. Now, going and telling all these things, how does he correct it? Who will he go and do this act with? Who will do the care for him? There, again, the self-talk thing comes. One of the biggest principles is when you teach, you learn. When you speak, you reinforce. So what he should do at the topmost level to get out of this disengagement is the case, which is from the head. Foster a sense of community and belonging. He should try to develop a sense of community and belonging within his team members. We will see when we do the driving, when the 7 drivers come, this will become very clear. He should empower his people. The more he empowers the people, more his engagement will increase, because empowering is a top-down job. It is not a bottoms-up job. You have to empower them. And when you empower them, automatically you inculcate a sense of community and belonging in your people. Second, you should be very authentic. Whatever you talk should be genuine. Don't hide your frustration. If you are frustrated, express it. They are your people. Only they can help you. Express your dissatisfaction. Ask them how this can be corrected. If the company is not doing well, share it with your team. Tell them the difficulties the company is going through. And they will definitely come forward. Be authentic. What they say and do, in everything that you say and do, be authentic. Point out the significance of the work that your people are doing, however small it may be. Point out the significance of the work that is being done. People don't do a shoddy job, a sloppy work, only when they don't know the importance and significance of the work that they are doing. So point out the significance of the work your people are doing and how it is aligned with the corporate goals. And finally, excite people to higher levels of performance and engagement. Talk to them. How will you excite them? Talk to them of a future scenario. When you do this, what will it look like? Help them to visualize that positive state of performance. Oftentimes, senior managers, top managers are guilty of not communicating adequately with their people. They feel, that if they talk too much, they will lose respect. People will start, they take this thing too seriously. What is that statement? Familiarity breeds contempt. It's not true. Familiarity does not breed contempt if you behave in a dignified and sensible manner. Familiarity breeds contempt only when you leave your position, your maturity, and go down. if with keeping your maturity, your status, your position in the place it should be, if you communicate with people openly and frankly, it will excite people to do greater things. Be frank with them. Show them that, look, today the company is a 100 crore company. Today the permanent productivity is 5 lakhs. I am planning to take this company to 500 crores. That means each one of you will have to do 25 lakhs. When you do 25 lakhs, this is what is the plan I have. Tell me, how can we go to it? Excite them. Take them to a higher level of performance. When you speak this, what are you doing? You are changing the vibration that you are in from a lower performance to a higher performance, and along with you, you are taking everyone. Engagement will automatically increase. And then, as I said, yatha raja tatha praja. If you are excited about the future of the organization, everyone will get excited automatically. And an engaged, excited company will perform very well. Any questions before we move on to the 7 drivers? Okay. Let us move to the first driver. I have put it here because it is totally psychological. William Kahn's theory of engagement addressed 3 things: the psychology of meaningfulness, the psychology of safety, and the psychology of availability. That means each and everything is psychological. So whatever we are going to be seeing now as the 7 drivers which you have to bring into your organization is each directed towards improving the psychology of the entire company's workforce. First, the first thing which we need to inculcate in our team is the psychology of recognition. Recognition is a very, very important aspect. We have seen even the State of Gallup poll, 82% of the employees said that they would prefer recognition to rewards. That is how powerful it is. Today you will be seeing the impact of recognition through a video of a very famous incident which happened in India about over a decade back. That incident can never be wiped out from the memory of Indian history. And in that incident, a phenomenal thing happened. So phenomenal that it has become a matter of case study in Harvard Business School and one particular professor of Harvard Business School is conducting worldwide seminars and case studies on this subject. Since then, we are going to be doing that today. We are going to be doing that. You will be seeing that video also. Recognition is such a powerful thing. How do you recognize? The question is not whether you are willing to recognize or not. The question is how to recognize. The first thing about recognition is it has to be timely. It has to be immediate. If recognition as a tool has to work for reinforcing behavior, it has to be done immediately. Not tomorrow, not day after. The moment you come to know, you register your recognition. Yes, many people are working from remote, but definitely you see when a good job is done, even in a remote location, you must be having monitoring systems in place which will throw up that performance. Immediately recognize it in whichever way you can, whether through a call to him, whether through a Zoom meeting or a WebEx meeting, or through a WhatsApp message, whichever way it is, recognize it. Be specific. Don't say you have done a good job. Be specific. To give you a simple example, supposing a person has done his target. Since there are lots of salespeople here, lots of managing directors, I'm sure you will appreciate this. Supposing a person has done his target, we say, well done. Don't do that. What is it about that target which is exciting you? Tell him, you have done a great job this time. This particular product, having sold so much, is a record for the organization. We are very appreciative of it. Do you know in the last 6 months, no one has done this? Something to show him that you have taken extra interest. Supposing, let us say, one of the peons has gone and deposited a parcel in time so that the parcel reaches the customer. Normally, the parcel person does not, courier people come, take it, next day morning they will come and give the POD and all those things. But in this case, this man went and deposited it and it has reached. The moment you get the information, call the peon and tell him, thank you, Shamlalji. You're taking that extra effort to go and give the courier yesterday evening before the courier fellow closed, has ensured that the parcel has reached the customer in time, and the customer is very happy about it. He wanted me to thank you, and I personally feel you have done a great job. Please keep it up. Next time onwards, he will ensure that every time the courier person is late, he will himself go and give it so that the parcel goes that day itself. This is very important thing. Be specific. Don't be vague in your appreciation. Take the trouble to understand the nuances of the act which deserves appreciation and give it. The third, proximity. As far as possible, have that proximity when you do the appreciation. If the person is in a remote place, get him on a Zoom and talk to him. Today, Zoom is available everywhere. If he is on a WhatsApp, go on a WhatsApp call, video call, and thank him. Appreciate him. Don't just send a letter and leave it at that. People hardly read letters, and a letter has got very less effect. Letter have negative impact. When you put something in writing, it has a negative impact. It brings about seriousness. But what you want to do through your recognition is bring about elation. So ensure that there is proximity. You are face to face with that person. You're talking to that person. He can see you. He can see your excitement. He can see the genuineness in your appreciation. And then be enthusiastic about it. Don't make it a ritual. Just because we have to recognize, we should not recognize. We should recognize because we feel the need to recognize such a good work. That means from the bottom of our heart, the recognition should come. Whatever behavior you pay attention to, you get more of it. Always remember that for engagement, this is a cardinal principle, that if you give attention to it, you will get it. If you don't give attention, it will not be repeated. Imagine that you are out of an office for a meeting and you are calling in to check with your team about what's going on. If you are the kind of manager who has taken time to recognize and acknowledge team members, you will get a reply something like this. Hey boss, we had a problem, we took care of it. Why? Because they know whenever they do something good, you recognize them. And they want that positive emotional stroke. You know, there is something called a material monetary wage and there is something called a psychic wage. How many of us are aware of this term called the psychic wage? I'm sure all of you are aware. Am I right or wrong? Can I have some answer, please?
Yes.
Yeah, agreed.
Huh?
Yeah, of course.
See, psychic wage is very important. Because monetary wage, you know how much you will get. But psychic wage, you are not sure you will get. So every time they get a psychic wage, an appreciation, a pat on the back, it works. Now, if you have failed to recognize your employees, this is what the answer you will get. Hey boss, we have got a problem. They will wait for you to give the solution. Has this happened with us, gentlemen?
Correct. It could be happening, it must be happening regularly.
If we have not given them the due psychic wage, we will always get this, hey, we have got a problem. And then they will wait while you cook in your own soup. Because you are far away in a meeting, you can't leave that meeting and come. And there is a problem brewing here. But if you are one of those managers who recognizes every time something good is done, you are enthusiastic about what has been achieved, you appreciate it immediately and wholeheartedly, believe me, they will solve the problem and tell you, because now they want again an appreciation from you. Which call do you have with your employees? Ask yourself and you will know how much you are appreciating people. You know, I have done a lot of survey on this, and I have found that many managers, you know, they say, what is the need to recognize? They are after all being paid to do their job. It's their job they are doing. They feel, you know, that if they appreciate them, you know, they are losing their dignity and their respect and their position. Why should I pamper them? They will take advantage of me then. I don't know. Now let us see another situation. This is a situation which...
I have a small doubt regarding appreciation, Arun sir.
Boliye ji.
Is it possible that if you appreciate some person and he realizes and he overvalues the appreciation and sort of makes an appeal to you to get some reward or something for it?
I don't understand what you mean, because you see,
if
you have appreciated him, Deepak ji,
yes.
if you have appreciated him, definitely he has done something good.
He has done something good, of course. Yeah, of course. Only then.
Okay. No, let me just complete. Let us go one by one. Let us go one by one. Then we will reach the answer.
Yeah, I'll come again.
You want to carry the conversation now or afterwards?
It shouldn't take long. See, it's like this. If you appreciate a person and if he starts taking advantage due to this, is it possible?
That will never happen. That will never happen, because you see, he will not take advantage. That cannot happen. When a person, you see, if you appreciate me, what advantage will I take? I'll feel happy. I'll come back to you for more appreciation by doing a better job.
No,
and you see, what you are telling possibly is it possible that he will ask for a salary increase? Is that what you are telling?
Either salary increase or a favor or an advance.
Now let us go back to the point that Adam's equity theory. If we have been paying him what the industry standard is, then that will not happen. But if he is underpaid and doing a much better job, it is in our interest to give him a better salary, otherwise we will lose a good person.
Of course, that is true. Correct.
So you see, Deepak ji, you see, it all boils down to what we are doing.
True.
You see, if a person is doing a good job and you're appreciating him and he's well paid, he will give his life for you, because he will again and again do a better job so that he can get that psychic wage from you. And if he's such a good worker, doing so well, it's in the interest of the organization to pay him better. You definitely wouldn't want to lose him.
That's correct. Yeah, I understand the facts. Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Good.
Let's move on to the next. Now let us take a case study and see. Friends, can I request some degree of participation? Barring one or two people, nobody seems to be talking.
Sure.
Imagine you have an employee who is chronically 5 minutes late to work. I assume that 5 minutes late is a very big amount. Okay. I imagine that you have an employee who is chronically 5 minutes late to work. You decide to speak with her or him to discuss the impact that being late has on team members, to explain that it doesn't fit with the company culture and values, and to clearly set the expectation that he or she will be on time in future. Is it clear? A person is routinely 5 minutes late. You don't like it because it does not fit in with the company's culture and discipline. You decide to talk to the person. You explain to that person that being late like this is not acceptable, and you expect that person to be on time. The next few days, the employee is on time and you say nothing. When do most supervisors say something under the situation? Give me the answer, please. Can I have an answer?
Would they try to talk only when people are wrong?
No, you tell me. Who is answering?
Is Srini here?
Okay, Srini. So see, the next few days the employee is on time and you say nothing. You had a talk with her or him and told that I will not accept it. And the next few days the employee is on time. When is the manager likely to speak next?
Yeah, the acknowledgement should be there from the manager or the immediate supervisor to say we are seeing a correction. Whether you're coming on time, keep doing it regularly. We are tracking that. That message has to.
Okay. Anyone else?
I agree with him. The message should be given to the employee that it's appreciated that he's coming on time. He has changed his pattern.
Mr. Arun, most of the supervisor will speak only when he again comes late. Before that, nobody will speak because they will assume it's his duty to come on time.
Okay. Anyone else?
Mr. Arun, are you asking that exactly what is the normal scenario, normal
yes,
practice?
Normal scenario, what is happening?
Okay,
I am not telling what should be done. What happens normally?
Yeah, then I also think the same. In most of the cases, it happens like that. The supervisor will only say once again the mistake will be done.
Mr. Rajesh, isn't it?
In between, In between, they will not appreciate that they are doing improving or something like that. That they normally miss to do that.
Okay. Anybody else? I think Mr. Rajneesh said that the supervisor will normally speak the next time he is late.
Yes.
Anyone else, please? Any other observation? Yeah, absolutely right.
Hello.
The next time he or she is late, the supervisor will immediately point out, I told you not to be late. Here lies the problem. You will never get the behavior you want by focusing on the behavior you don't want. Recognition follows this one principle. Let us all understand it clearly. The problem is we always focus on the behavior we don't want. Mr. Rajneesh and Mr. Rajarishi were 100% right. Everywhere we say that we should do like this, but what we do is this. The moment we become managers, somewhere it has come into our head that our job is to correct mistakes. So what happens? We go to work with someone, we look for mistakes, And then, you know, at the end of the day's work, you'll say, sir, how was the work? Then we use a sandwich. What is that? It was good, but give 10 list of mistakes. What are we doing? We are focusing on the behavior that we don't want. And we expect the behavior we want to be strengthened. That will never happen. So the first principle of the 7 drivers is focus on the good that people are doing, give recognition to them, timely recognition, be specific in what you are recognizing, don't be vague, be enthusiastic, and ensure that proximity is there. When you are recognizing, the person can see you, he can feel what you are telling. Once we do this, the first driver for engagement in an organization has been put in place. Now, let us move on to the next driver.
One question, if I could ask here.
Yes, yes. Most welcome.
On day one, you talked about the 4 responses that a leader could have, which had punishment and extinction as well. So
yes.
My question is when to use, how to make the best use of these 2.
We had already discussed that they are not directive but restrictive behavior. Punishment and extinction are a part of B.F. Skinner's restrictive behavior. Punishment is adding a new behavior to restrict an existing behavior. If a person does something which is not correct for the organization, you issue a memo to him. That is a punishment. If a person is disturbing people from working by going and chit-chatting and gossiping with them, you instruct the people who are being disturbed to ignore him. And that is extinction. You are withdrawing the recognition which was accorded to him by his colleagues as being a colleague, and that is again a restrictive behavior. Recognition is what? You are encouraging a person to repeat a behavior for a psychic wage. Do you understand, Samak? Am I clear?
Yes. So as of now, we have been underutilizing recognition and over-emphasizing on punishment and
that is the reason why 85% of the world working population is disengaged. See, the purpose we are talking about these 7 drivers is to understand what we need to do. You see, Yatha Raja, Tatha Praja Samayag, you are very young, you are 25, you are learning this now. You will go great distance in life if you start using it. I wish someone had taught me all these things when I was 25. Can we move on to the next one?
Yeah, let's
Empower. This is a tremendous tool for engagement. This is a tremendous tool. And this is going to look so great if you start doing it. I'll tell you, the culture of your organization will change. There are 4, areas where you need to empower people and 3 methodologies of doing it. What is the first area? I'm sure this is going to throw up a lot of discussion. Economic empowerment. Yesterday when we were discussing, a particular word came up, CTC, cost to company. Now the CTC, every company has its CTC for every position. Empower your employee to decide how he should frame his CTC so that he can be benefited and satisfied. Empower him economically. But what happens? Supposing, let us say, the boy comes and asks, what is my salary, sir? This is your CTC. Sir, can you tape it? No. We have our fixed way of doing things. Only this much as HRA, only this much as housing allowance, this much, everything. We are not interested in considering anything. we behave as if we are taking the money out of our pocket and giving it to him. Why can't we be flexible and empower him to decide how he should earn what he is earning? Empower your employees to decide. You see, you have decided you will give him only 40,000 rupees per month. Let him decide how he should get that 40,000. Your cost is only 40. Next. Political. What does political mean? Can anyone tell me what does political mean?
So, internal gaming or taking viewpoints or trying to
environmental factors. Environmental factors.
What does political empowerment mean?
Environment. Conducive environment.
Okay. Anybody else? Political empowerment means including him in the decision-making process. I'm not telling include him with the board of directors meeting, but all decisions involving his career, his employment, why should this gentleman not be included in it? Why should he not have a say? Why should we tell and he accept blindly? Half the confrontation between boss and manager and company and subordinate employee comes only because decisions are thrust on them. Why should we not empower them to be involved in the process? Once you have shown the alignment of his job to the organization's objective, and the organization's objective is decided by you, why don't you involve him in the decision-making process? Empower your person, involve him in the process, take his input, and if you can't follow his suggestion, accept his suggestion, explain to him why it can't be accepted. Everything that a subordinate says need not be accepted by the manager. Everything that an employee says need not be accepted by the company. But if everything that the company wants the subordinate to do, the employee to do, if he is involved, the chances are that a great majority of them, he will do it with great ownership because there will be a buy-in into the decision making. Third is cultural. What do we mean by cultural? What is the meaning of cultural? Can anyone help me with it?
Cultural.
Allow him to, whatever culture and basic environment he comes from, whatever the core values there, whatever may be. Maybe for the sake there are different type of religious people, and they want leaves at certain particular festivals, but company may not be able to consider all the festivities as a holiday. So that's what I understand. Maybe some other things related to their personal lives, get-togethers, social activities, etc.
Yeah, you are to a very great extent right. Cultural is helping him be in that work environment without distinction of caste, creed, position, language, or culture. We saw yesterday that Google office, didn't we see? There you see, you saw even Punjab being written. That's a Google office in California. Supposing a person were allowed his private space, he is having a private space, if he is allowed to keep his wife and children's photograph there, keep the picture of two of his gods or whatever, temple or mosque or church or whatever it is, if that private space of his is something that he would like to cherish as his space, how much more happy he will be? Do we realize a major portion of the waking hour he is going to be spending there? If he feels comfortable in that place, how much more comfortable he will be in the working environment? But in the name of discipline, many officers, they frown on this. They don't want. Office means professional. I can't understand what is the meaning of being professional. Being disengaged is professional, is it? If on my table my son's photograph is there and I feel happy about it and work, what's unprofessional about it? We feel so comfortable in our domestic environment only because we are surrounded by things which remind us of our near and dear ones. When you empower them to practice what is natural to them, what is their belief system, you encourage them to be their natural self, you encourage cultural empowerment, and that will ensure that they will recognize, they will align themselves better to you. And finally, we come to societal, like Mr. Rajneesh was telling, allowing them the freedom to have a work-life balance by moving around with people that they want, by having get-togethers, by having picnics as they want. Don't force a picnic on them from the company's side. Encourage them to have, gatherings. Support them in their gatherings. Let the people of different departments mix around. Talk to each other. Many companies frown on people from different departments mixing each other. They feel, that messages will percolate, move around. Confidentiality will not be there. What big confidentiality? Everyone is working for the same company. If you are aware of Adam's theory of equity and you are treating all your employees fairly, how does it matter if an accountant meets a salesperson? When they identify with each other, they will stick together and stay together. And this is where comes training for variety and improvement of skill. Train people. Cross-functional training is a very important tool in empowering people. Supposing you are having an accounts department training program, finance department training program. Have a session on finance for non-finance people. Get some of these people into that. Let them understand finance. Let them develop a few skills. Get distribution logistics people into a sales training so that they understand the problems the sales people have because of delayed dispatches. Get finance people to attend a meeting of representatives and managers so that they will understand what are the difficulties they are having with expense reimbursement or cost in the marketplace. See, this way, when you have training for variety and there is an improvement in the overall skill set of all different people, they start appreciating each other and a team is built.
Sir, is it like that interface meeting?
Huh?
Interface.
Interface means to exchange, we meet each other.
Right.
Okay, demonstrate trust and confidence through autonomy and responsibilities. Demonstrate, you see, we say, give them the power to take decisions along with you. Demonstrate trust and confidence on them. They will do it. They can do it. Why they should not be able to do it? Why should we assume that we only know everything? Ultimately, you are going to be where he is today. You are not going to remain there as a frontline manager or a regional manager forever. You are also going to grow. Why is it that I should think you are incapable today and suddenly one bright morning as a general manager you become capable? trust them to take decisions along with you, repose your confidence on them, give them the autonomy required, make them responsible for the performance and their activities, and finally, give them challenging tasks. Keep challenging their limits. Keep pushing them beyond their zone of comfort. You know that great advertisement? Dar ke aage jeet hai. And when are you scared? When you are to step outside your zone of comfort, you are scared. But only outside your zone of comfort is there success. And when you taste that success, you become like a tiger which has tasted blood. You will go after it like nobody's business. And that is when real empowerment of an employee takes place. And that is when engagement happens. Because the more you test his limits, the more you test his limits, the more you give him challenging tasks, the more addicted he becomes to achievement. And achievement is an aphrodisiac. The more you achieve in life, the more you want to achieve. And you will not leave a known environment. You know, as they say, a known devil is better than an unknown angel. So you will know that here, I am being challenged, I am being pushed to my limits, I am achieving things, let me stick on to it. Because ultimately, Adam's equity theory, you have already tested and found that everywhere it is the same. At least here, you are getting the benefit and the pleasure of achieving something. Any questions? The four components, essential components of empowerment, which comes out of this are authority. Give your team members the authority to do the work they want, the way they want. Talk of outcome, not of output. What is the outcome? What is the bottom line that they are achieving for your organization? Talk of that. Give them the authority to decide how to achieve their bottom line. Within the legal framework. I'm not telling allow them to do illegal things and get the bottom line. No. Within the legal framework. Don't insist on activities. Insist on outcome. Give them the resources necessary. What are the resources? Autonomy is a resource. Recognition is a resource. Support, coaching, getting them to develop the capability is a resource. The required information, don't hold back from them. Be authentic. Tell them what the truth is. And finally, hold them accountable for the outcome. Tell them very bluntly, clearly, in a polite manner, I have given you the authority, I have given you the resource, I have given you all the information. Now, son, you better deliver. This will get you the necessary engagement and the result. You will not lose people, they will stay and they will perform. Now let's move on to the third. Any questions so far?
No, I don't have any. Ask others.
No, sir.
Points well taken, sir.
We come to one of the most wonderful things. Today, I told you not that day that we will discuss feed forward. We will discuss feed forward threadbare now. And I am sure, I sincerely hope that each one of you, whatever doubt you have about this, you will ask very openly. Challenge me wherever you feel that it is not aligning with your thinking or you are not convinced about it. Please, I beg of you, don't let it just be a one-way thing, at least where feed forward is concerned. Because this is a very powerful tool for performance, is a very powerful tool for engagement. Benefits of feed forward. It is solution oriented, not problem oriented. Providing clear indication on how to solve a problem without offering criticism. Now tell me one thing. Who can provide the solution?
The person who is facing the problems.
Excellent. The person on whom you are given the job, only he can provide the solution. You can't. And if he has to provide the solution, he has to be very clear. He has to be very clear that there is no judgmental behavior around him. Number two, it is future oriented, avoiding comments on past behavior or results that cannot be changed. Can the past be changed? Can any one of you change what has happened 5 minutes back? Am I hearing any answer?
No one could.
Then what is the point in discussing about that?
Correct.
It is totally future oriented. Based upon, now the future is going to be decided by what?
Sir, but sir, there is one point which I wanted to check.
Yes.
When we are okay, it is okay we talk about the how things have to happen in the going forward, but where that individual had missed it last time, don't you think we need to discuss why
You
it
need
had
to
not?
know. Tell me, Mr. Srini, who should know where he has missed it? Who should know where he has missed
only
it?
when we are okay. So when we are getting into a discussion with an individual, it has to be more of a conversation, right? So we would have to make him understand how it has been missed the last time, so that he can come up with an improved performance or an improved output.
So your statement presupposes that he does not know where he has missed it. He does not understand where he has missed it, right?
Yes.
That means we are working with a duffer. Then why are
Need
you
not
giving
be
the
right.
responsibility? Then why are you giving the responsibility to him to do it in the future?
No. Okay. It need not be right. There could be some unique thing which could have stopped him doing that or meeting
Good.
with an, let
Very
that be a
good.
target.
If there is something which has stopped him from doing it, who knows what has stopped him, you or he? Who knows, you or he?
But sir, yeah, he should
Leave
be
the
knowing
but. You
it.
just answer my question. Who knows, you or he?
He should be knowing it.
He knows it. He knows what has stopped him.
But he
Who
might not
should
be able to
just
come
a
up with a
minute?
solution,
Just
right?
I'm asking the question. You answer, you will get the solution.
Okay, he
If
should be the
he
person.
knows, just a minute, if he knows what has stopped him from doing it, who can take remedial measure, you or he?
He has to take.
Just a minute. He only can take the remedial measure?
Yes.
But he will take the remedial measure if he is forced or if he realizes it himself.
He need to realize.
He will realize it when he has to achieve it, and he knows that if the same thing happens, he will not be able to achieve it. Correct?
Yes.
How is it going to help if you embarrass him and then tell him this is why it happened? Now again, if it happens, that will happen. You are creating a self-failing prophecy. That is the reason why we should never visit the past. Supposing there is a 60% achievement, you want 100% achievement, and this 60% achievement has come because he has not worked. And if you ask him why that 60% achievement has come, did you work? With the intention of making him realize that he has not worked, that means you assume he does not know that he has not worked. He knows he has not worked. That is why the 60% has come. Now, if you ask him how you are going to achieve this 100%, what is he likely to tell? He will say, sir, I will increase my work. What does that statement tell you? that he has not put in adequate amount of work to achieve that 100%. But
Okay.
don't visit it.
Okay.
Ask him, in what way will you increase your work?
Okay. How would you do that? Okay.
Now, in what way are you going to do it? What is going to be done differently by you now that was not done earlier? Don't ask him what you did earlier.
Okay. Okay.
Ask him, in what way are you? No, he will say, sir, I will do one thing, sir. Instead of 15 trade calls, I will make 20 trade calls. Excellent. So how will you do 20 trade calls in that given time when earlier you could not do it? Then you'll say, sir, I will come out earlier in the day. Something, whatever he has in his mind, he will tell. What is, because he knows what the reason is for that poor performance. Mr. Srini, don't mind, but I can tell you one thing, you will never get the truth out of your subordinate by questioning him why he has failed. They will lie through their teeth. How many of us touch our heart and tell me, how many of us tell the truth when we are asked a question about something which has not worked for us? Do we tell it? We
Yes,
make
sir.
101 excuses. We make 101 excuses as to why something was not done. How many of them are real? Where is the necessity? We want the job to be done. That is more important. If you exhume a dead body, it will only stink. Is that what we want? Why am I telling this so forcefully, Mr. Srini, is because I'm not just interested in conducting a class. I'm interested in your internalizing it for your benefit, your organization's benefit. Try this. I'm telling you, it will work like a miracle. Mr. Srini?
Yes, sir.
What is your position?
So I heard service delivery.
You have people working under you?
Yes, sir. I do.
Whenever you have asked question of why something has failed, where has it led?
Yeah, finger pointing, telling issues which are there or not in their control, coming up with reasons. So I understand most of it, but only one point. If we my point is only when we understand and admit that we have a problem, we can find a solution. That is my thought, my belief.
But why should you understand? You want a solution, isn't it? No, he said, so sir, I did not work. I did not go and deliver it. Has the solution come?
No, it is more of an explanation. That won't help.
Then what is the use of asking anything? Ask him how he will do it. Ask him how he is going to do it differently now. That will give you all the answers.
Instead of quoting that, and instead of we talking about it. Yeah.
Don't talk about it. Don't be judgmental. We will come to that. Don't be judgmental at all. Behavioral or focus on precise action rather than general principle. Don't talk anything. Just ask for the actions he's going to take.
Okay.
Focus only what are you going to do? What do you plan to do so that this month you will achieve this? What happened last month is history. And believe me, as I said, by focusing on behavior you don't want, you will never be able to create the behavior that you want. Focus on the behavior you want. You want him to work and achieve the objective. Focus on that. Don't focus on what went wrong. It will only create that behavior. Because what he will do, he will start justifying. And now, just for a moment, Mr. Srini, what are you thinking about? Are you listening to what I am telling or you're thinking about something else?
No, sir. I'm thinking about what we are discussing here. Yeah.
I can tell you one thing. Most of the time, people hear, they don't listen.
Many a
Hearing
times.
is a physical act.
Many a times.
So you see, when you are going to be asking him about the reason why he has failed, after that, remember one thing, that one judgmental behavior will ruin the entire discussion, because after that, he will only be strategizing on how to checkmate you.
Okay.
He will never ever think of the solution. And that is the reason why most boss subordinate discussions fail. Because the subordinate is totally on the defensive. The boss has started an inquisition. Boss is not interested in result. He is interested in fixing the problem, fixing you. What went wrong? He is more interested in knowing what you didn't do, what went wrong, why the achievement has not come, when he should be interested in how to get the achievement, what should be done so that we can achieve. And the only person who knows what is to be done so that he can achieve is the person who is going to do it. You don't know. Forget it. You can never know.
Sir, it seems that self-realization gives the best solution.
My dear friend, I'm very sorry to say this. Self-realization ended with Gautam Buddha.
Well, at least it will give some improvement, sir.
In whom? By asking questions and telling a man he is wrong, you are going to make him realize, is it?
No, sir. We will indirectly tell him from...
Why indirectly tell him? How do you know that what he is telling is not right?
No, from 60 to 100, I'll never say that what is the reason for 60. I'll ask him how to do 60 to 100.
That's what I'm also telling. Don't talk about 60. Just ask him how to do 100.
Straight
that
away.
is
Okay.
enough.
What is the result I need? Okay.
That's all. You focus on what you want. Why do you want to go to that 60? It is over, done and dusted. You can't change that.
Correct. It's a past one. Correct.
It is done and dusted. You can't do anything about it. Supposing you ask him, why 60 only you have done, not 100? He gives you 10 reasons. Now tell me, what are you going to do? Are you going to tell him he's lying?
No use.
Then he asks you, sir, this is the situation. Now you tell me what I should do. Now what you will do?
No. Correct.
90% of the time, failure happens only because the monkey shifts from the subordinate to the boss's shoulder. And then next month, when it doesn't happen, you ask him, why not, sir? I did what you told me.
Yes, sir.
That is what I've done. You see?
Yeah, your solution is not working.
Then now you are fixed. Now you are his subordinate. He is your boss. Now he will tell you, now tell me, sir, how I should do. That's all. The roles are reversed.
Correct.
Yes, boss. You raise your hand.
Yes, sir. Sir, I'm coming from, pharma and diagnostic industry. I have a very specific question, and I would like to, ask you, because I think you will be the best person who I have seen so far. Yeah. So the question, what I am having is, I am dealing with a medical representative or a person who have to develop the business. And we expect, usually any company expects, a suggestive line of communication. And
then I couldn't understand what you are telling. Sound was not right. Yeah.
Okay. So 1 second, sir. I'm disconnecting my Bluetooth. Sir, am I audible now?
Yeah, you are audible.
Yeah. So what I was mentioning, sir, in pharma, or I come from a diagnostic company. Very often, what I see is for a non-conversion of a customer or some, anything. So people end up saying, I have done everything. And, but this doctor is like this only.
Okay.
So how do, you use the feed forward communication over here and then, get the best outcome or output?
Very simple. Very simple.
Okay.
You have the record with you as to how many times he has visited that doctor.
Yeah, surely we have that.
You have that record. Ask him, based on your experience with this doctor in all these years, what do you think you should be doing going forward so that this doctor can be converted? Let him tell what he has to do. That will tell you what he has not done. If he says, sir, at any cost, this doctor cannot be changed at all. That is also possible, isn't it?
Yeah, sometimes at times.
Okay. Now, how long that representative has been with you? He has been with you for 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, whatever period he has been with. What is his performance in all these years? If he is basically a good performer, why should you doubt that this doctor cannot be changed? Maybe this doctor is some other company's, pet doctor. He might be a key account and he cannot be changed. It is also possible, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, in a genuine situation, that
Yeah,
also.
then why should you suspect him? If he is a good performer, he has been consistently performing well. He tells you something that this doctor cannot be changed. You ask him what going forward can be done. He still says, sir, he cannot be changed. Why should we waste our time? I am getting you the target from other doctors. Why are you breaking your head? Now tell me one thing. If you were in his place, what you would have answered? You want to make an enemy out of that representative just for one doctor and spoil a territory's business? Just because our ego does not allow us to take the suggestion and recommendation of our subordinate?
Sir, I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, that's not my question. I mean, not accepting or not, that's not my question. My question is, I mean, yeah.
See, feed forward talks about going forward, how to be done. Focus on precise actions. Don't be judgmental.
Okay.
Ask him. You can even tell him, see, XYZ, you are doing such an excellent job. But this doctor is not converting. What, according to you, from your experience, do you think we should be doing so that we can convert him? That's all. Let him tell what, according to him, it should be done. That will give you an idea that he has not done the thing. So let him, supposing he says, sir, I think we should go and meet him first thing in the morning when his clinic opens. Let us try that also, sir. Now, what does it mean?
So he had not tried that. I mean,
that's all.
Yeah, okay. No,
if he says,
sir,
let me try one more, I think, sir, if I meet him 3 times in a month, it will work out. That means, what does it mean?
Okay, so previous month he had not met 3 times.
That means he has not met him 3 times in a month. Maybe he wants more frequency of visit. These are all his understandings when he is telling you. See, when a person gives a suggestion himself, he gets a buy-in.
There is more buy-in. There is more buy-in.
So that instead of finding fault, let us get them on our side.
Yeah, so question was not finding fault. Question was something else. Question was, when the planning was done, planning and execution, everything is being done by a particular person. So obviously planning is also being done without any external push, which means suppose if I am doing planning by in myself and then I'm not being able to execute it. So, and I'm saying that, whatever I can do, I have done everything. So do I have to look back into the processes and everything to improve my processes? Or maybe in terms of...
Mr. Srinivas, you are a part of the planning going forward. Did you ask the right questions? When he says that let us meet him at when his clinic opens, what is the next question you should ask?
Yeah, I mean, is the call prepared?
No, that is not the question you should ask.
What was
Can
the
I
previous
say?
call?
Yes.
What was the previous call?
Why should you make a call in the morning?
No, supposing a person says that we will call, I will meet him that when his clinic opens in the morning. So what is the next question you should ask? What time does his clinic open in the morning? That is the question you should ask.
Correct.
Let him say, let us say he says 8 o'clock. What is the next question you should ask? How far is your house from the clinic? How much time will it take from there and come to the clinic by 8 o'clock? Will you be in a position to start at 7 o'clock and come here? How are you going to ensure that that is done so that you do not miss? Guide him. Then table everything, record everything.
So now that is done. Now that is done. There is no problem in reaching. There is no problem in meeting the doctor. Everything is smooth. Now the person attempted to meet and the doctor met also.
Doctor?
Doctor met. Doctor met this particular representative.
Okay.
Okay. Now this is being done for 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, 7 times a month.
Okay.
But there is not even a single prescription. Or maybe,
Good.
since we are a pharma.
No, it's
or a
possible. It's
diagnostic-
absolutely possible.
Yeah. So then how do we,
Now take a call whether you want to continue with the doctor in the list or not. Whether you are going to keep on breaking your head on a wall.
Yeah.
He is not the only customer in this world, na?
No.
See,
I mean,
I'll tell you one thing, Mr. Srinivas.
Yeah.
Feed forward is to ensure engagement, not business from your customer. The business from your customer will be created by the engaged employee.
Yeah. So
if the employee is engaged enough and he is outcome oriented, even if this customer does not get you business, he will get the business from some other customer. Every customer in your list will not start producing on the same day.
I do agree with that. When I have a doctor list of around, say, I worked on a doctor list of 280 once upon a time. After that, moving further, now I am into a very super niche segment where I have the entire state put together. I have only, 40, 50 customers, not more than that. So when I have a, very high network individuals, can I be of the same mindset where I have a generalistic approach?
See, your
Mr.
customer
Arun,
list.
Can I also add into something?
Yes, please do.
Mr. Bose, what
yes,
happens now currently, since we are talking about the engagement with our internal customers, this is going further one more step ahead. Customer, the actual external customer. So we have to increase and do all the activities to get more engaged with customer. We have
Mr.
to go
Srinivas,
for
what I
the
suggest is, you see, if you have decided that you are going to find a solution to get a particular doctor to prescribe through this session, it's not going to happen. Okay, so what I suggest is, you understand the feed forward.
I have a request, please, everybody, if it's okay. Now it's 9:30. So can Srinivas be speaking to Mr. Arun separately tomorrow or some other time?
No, we can take it later on.
We have close for the day.
Yeah. We can discuss this personally at later on, but I can tell you one thing, Mr. Srinivas. What happens if this will not happen? What happens if this will not happen has got no end at all. It can go eternally. You have to first understand that the only solution to developing your business is having an engaged employee. And customer handling is entirely different, and even with the best customer relationship management tool at your disposal, you will not be able to convert 100% customer to your side. It doesn't matter whether you have got 40 in your list or 400 in your list. You will never get 100% onto your side. So you will have to be ready to ensure that your employees are highly engaged so that they can make up the business. If one customer does not give, they should be able to make it up with another.
And here also this focus is on not on overall outcome. It is one particular customer.
Yeah.
When if all put together we are able to get our outcome, that shouldn't be a matter at all when that particular doctor has been converted or not.
Sure. I have kept this, as a manager when I am handling people. I definitely agree regarding employee engagement because, manager and an employee usually have.
Mr. Srinivas, we are again going round and round. Let's not do that.
Okay, fine.
We are discussing employee engagement. And you see, employee engagement can be done through feed forward. If you are not acceptable and interested in that, you can dump it and continue with your feedback and keep asking your subordinate what is the reason he has failed. If that is getting you results, please follow it. I would sincerely suggest, if asking and understanding why something has not happened is getting you results, follow it. We come to the next one. Feed forward is not judgmental. Whenever someone is being judgmental, it affects the morale of the individual and he goes into a shell. Once he goes into a shell, like a tortoise going into its shell, you will not be able to coax it out into the open to get result out of it. Feed forward is empowering, offering optional avenues for improvement or for autonomous development, because when you ask him how he is going to do it rather than try to find out why he could not do it, you are stimulating his thinking process, and decision making is always selecting the best out of the various options available. And the various options available to an individual is dependent upon his understanding of the resources at his disposal, his capability of analyzing the situation, and his ability to take action. Resources, capability, and willingness to take action are the three critical things for creating options, and only if these three are exercised and the options are created can the right decision be taken, and that has to be taken by that person. So you have to perforce empower him. By being judgmental or trying to find out why something did not happen, we will push him into the shell and then he will not cooperate. He will go defensive and then nothing will happen. Feed forward is respectful and helps reinforce positive and partnership relationship. He will start trusting you because he will realize that you are not interested in finding fault. You are interested in helping him. You are interested in supporting him. He will become more open, and over a period of time, a good, healthy, positive, respectful relationship will develop between the two of you. And that will go a long way in ensuring productivity. It is very participative. It allows all involved persons practical means to help solve potentially repetitious negative experiences. If you sit down and analyze all the feedbacks that have been taken, you will realize that the same excuses keep repeating. The same excuses will be repeated. And you will be handling the excuses in the same way, and the outcome is the same. As Einstein said, doing the same thing and expecting different result is defined as insanity. If we are going to do something and repeat the same thing, the result will be the same as what came earlier. It is not going to be any different. Participation is the key word in feed forward. Whereas the key word in feedback is understanding what the problem is. You are focusing on the problem and expecting a solution. When you focus on the problem, you are part of the problem. If you want to be part of the solution, you need to focus on the solution. That is the reason why feed forward is so powerful. It helps resolve conflicts by positioning relationships in a positive and supportive dimension. When you ask for reasons why things have gone wrong, there is acrimony and there is opposition. When you ask for solutions and you guide the person towards understanding the solution, rather than concentrating on past performance and problem, you help resolve conflict and strengthen relationship. And finally, paves the way to prepare for future shadow coaching. You do it 2-3 times. The fourth time when the person will come, he will know that he is coming for a feed forward session and not a feedback session. He will come prepared with all the plans by which he can achieve, and with confidence and courage. He will not be defensive. Your meetings will become productive, behavior will be proactive. These are the biggest advantages of feed forward. For further understanding of this, I suggest you read the book by Marshall Goldsmith, What Brought You Here Will Not Get You There. Please read that book. It's a wonderful book and you will be able to understand it much better. Any questions?
What is the name of the book again?
What Brought You Here Will Not Get You There.
Okay.
By Marshall Goldsmith.
Yeah.
Rajneesh ji, you have unmuted.
Yeah, I was also asking the book name.
Please read this book. What Brought You Here Will Not Get You There. And incidentally, this is taught in all the major business schools in the world.
Yeah, actually, it's a totally different role you have to perform in future. Na? You can't stick to the whatever you are doing. You have to assume the new duties, new activities, new work culture, and leave behind the things which you have for which you have been rewarded. If you continue to do that, you will remain same. You will not improve and do the what that particular position or kind of responsibility, accountability is demanding from you.
You see, if you can't trust your subordinate, you're on a one-way path to failure.
Yeah.
There's absolutely no doubt about that. See, mediocrity is backed by distrust and dictates. When you take it upon yourself to dictate the behavior of people and distrust them to take their own decision, you are on a one-way path to failure. Trust people, allow them the autonomy, support them, they will make you kings. Any other question? Okay.
Not so far.
How do you do this feed forward session? We have seen what is feed forward. But doing this feed forward has a certain sequence in which it should be done. Please, when this video comes, at the end of this, either you can take a photograph of the slide once it is completed, or when the video comes, you can stop it at that place and take a photograph and create the checklist and follow it. You will definitely succeed. First, remember to focus only on the behavior, not on the individual. That means the word you should vanish. What should be done? What you will do, don't. Schedule your sitting. Don't have a feed forward without scheduling a sitting. Tell him very clearly that we are going to have a feed forward session on so and so date at so and so time. Schedule it. Next, one behavior only at a time. If you are going to be discussing one particular issue, only that. Don't discuss anything else. Don't bring extraneous things into it. Only one behavior at a time. Once this is done, once the role has been, decided upon, do a role play. For instance, supposing you ask him what time he is going to go and meet, then ask everything completed, then ask him, now will you please tell me exactly in what sequence you will do it, then start. 7 o'clock he has to leave his house, means at what time he has to get ready to leave the house, how he will come there, what he will talk to the doctor, why he will tell what he has to tell. Let there be a total role play with you being the doctor and he being the person who is going to visit that doctor. Do a role play. agree on the outcome. What is the possible outcome that is being expected? Agree on that. See whether it is acceptable. Check whether any modification is possible in the behavior so that the outcome can be improved. Find out what are the reasons why the outcome cannot be different. What steps are going to be taken by him to ensure that the outcome is not different. Everything noted. You should know what you want. Only then you will get what you want. If you don't know what exactly you want, you will not be able to guide him in the feed forward session to the desired outcome. And finally, schedule the next review. And this review should be at the earliest after the event. Supposing he says, I am going to go and visit the doctor day after tomorrow, see if you can schedule a review of what has happened immediately the day after that. Supposing he says, I'm going to meet him on 7th, and the feed forward has clearly defined the road path, then schedule the meeting on the 8th. Is it clear? Any questions?
Now, I have a small doubt.
Yeah.
You mentioned one behavior at a time.
Yes.
That point, that means if you are having a meeting with some subordinate, so you can discuss with him only one behavior in that meeting, or
yes, only
you
one.
have to speak.
Only one.
Or you can speak one by one.
No, only one.
Oh, there are 2-3 points to discuss.
No, you schedule a different meeting for the next one, and then schedule a different meeting for the third one. Then you see, you prioritize which is the most important one for you, which you want to address. Talking about everything, nothing is going to be achieved. You want solutions to be found in a concrete manner, address only one.
What is the reason behind this?
The reason is full focus will be there on it. There'll be full focus on it.
And Mr. Carlo, the reason is that by taking one incident particular time, we will be involving so deeply that once he does it, it never needed to repeat it again and again. And then that particular area of activity has been synced within that person. That is what my understanding. That happens.
You are absolutely right, Mr. Rajneesh.
Oh, I see. Right.
You will give adequate importance to the solution, and the person will also realize that real importance is being given to him, and it has to be addressed with the importance it deserves.
Okay, fine. Let's proceed.
Focusing on too many things is equal to not focusing on anything. Now we come to partnering. If you remember, in the beginning, I had told you that we are going to be looking at a case history which is being, studied the world over, of an incident which happened in India over a decade back. Let us see that. The incident is the terrorist attack on Taj Mahal Hotel on 26th of November 2008. The case history is being conducted by the professor of marketing of Harvard Business School by the name Mr. Rohit Deshpande. This video is available and it is viral on YouTube. I have collated the essential parts to highlight the various aspects of engagement, particularly partnering, how this happened. Watch this.
Next 2008 was a typical busy Wednesday for the Taj. More than 500 guests were registered at the hotel. Another 500 to 600 were attending functions in banquet halls or sitting down to dinner in the hotel's 10 restaurants. Shortly after 9 p.m., an explosion rocked the Leopold Cafe just around the corner, less than 200 meters from the Taj. Two young men pulled out automatic weapons and began firing. Crowds at the Gateway of India and along the street in front of the Taj panicked, many rushing the doors of the hotel. In the ensuing chaos, two heavily armed terrorists circumvented the metal detectors and entered the lobby. They were soon joined by the two attackers from the Leopold, who broke through a back door.
9:35 or 9:40 was the first call I got from one of my chefs. And I think some shooting is taking place. The person has been shot dead outside my restaurant. Then we heard, and I told him on the phone, just all the restaurant doors.
They were banging the door. They were alerting everyone, come out, otherwise we'll shoot you. There were few guests that who they were scared and they came out by putting their hands up, like, and they started hitting them. They started harassing them. It was horrible.
The situation, the entire scenario was very scary. We couldn't judge at that time what is exactly happening in the hotel.
It was a literally war situation. You can hear grenade lobbing around. You can hear the gunshot also.
We did not know the scale of the attack. We did not know what exactly was going on, where they were at that moment. And there was total chaos. My colleagues were trapped with guests in various places, asking me what should we do next. My dear friends, that evening, the Unilever global conference was taking place of the board in Taj Hotel. There were 600 employees of Taj Mahal Hotel there when the attack took place. I want to ask you, how many of them do you think left the hotel and escaped? How many of the Unilever board members who are there in the thing, escaped? And how many of the Taj Mahal people escaped?
None.
Who is it?
Sir, Joydeep.
100% right. Not a single one of the Taj Mahal Hotel employees left. In fact, you'll be surprised to know.
I have seen it in a documentary well crafted based on the findings, like what exactly happened, and all of the Taj Hotel members, I mean the employees, were involved in that particular documentary, like how they delegated all those who are staying in the hotel through different paths and all which they knew, and to a secure place. So that's how, I mean, nobody has left.
You are right. Now continue watching. In the end, you will realize what the whole thing is about.
The evening of November 26th.
No, this was.
The staff of the Taj stayed on duty throughout the siege, calming frightened guests and assisting in their rescue. Many even came back inside after leading guests out of the building. Members of the hotel's team of telephone operators, originally evacuated, voluntarily returned to their stations and stayed on all night.
They became the hub of communication at that point. They were the ones calling every single guest room, talking to the guests and telling them to stay in, don't step out, lock your door.
Terrors roamed the halls. Telephone operators instructed trapped guests to pull their key cards to turn off the illuminated Occupy button in the hallway outside their doors.
The attack started at 9:30 in the evening. Till 4 o'clock they were answering guest calls. I think that speaks a lot for a hotel under attack.
Among the guests at the Taj that night were members of the Global Board of Directors and senior management team of Unilever, who had gathered along with their spouses to honor incoming and outgoing.
People helped the guests escape, came out, left them with the security people, then went in again to rescue people.
This went on till 4 or 5 in the morning when the room filled with smoke. So we had no choice but to find a way to escape.
The entire corridor outside the hall was on fire. So there was no way we could get out. The fire guys were outside and they were dousing the fire on the 6th floor. And we happened to see Mr. Kang downstairs as well. So he sort of ushered the fire guys to us.
We sort of climbed onto the ledge and did some stuff which in today's normal day I wouldn't be able to do, but we sort of came onto the ledge, climbed down to the ladders which by then the fire brigade people had come. The staff insisted that we would go first, guests would go first. And they kept like that till all of us had come down and then they all came down.
Well, in a way, because I was there, I was looking after the function, I was responsible. I could have been the youngest in the room, and I know at one point of time I was the youngest in the room, but I was still doing my job.
The easiest thing for our staff to do at that point in time was to drop whatever they were doing and run out of the hotel. Not one did that. Not one.
I come from an army background, not myself, but my father, he retired as a general in the army. And he often used to say, when I was even appointed here as the general manager, he used to often tell me that you are now like the captain of the ship. And I think that's the way you think, that you are the captain of the ship, and you have to be the last one to leave, and if it sinks, you sink with it.
At some point, our kitchen brigade decided that it looked like a lull in the thing and they could be taken out from the back of the kitchen through the fire exit to the back road. And our chefs had formed a human chain to escort people in the darkness down those stairs. And as hundreds of them were being evacuated, somehow two of those terrorists got to know that this was happening. And the terrorists arrived there and saw these chefs lined up, herding people away, and there was mayhem. They cut loose, and that's where we lost our biggest numbers there. We had 5 or 6 of our chefs gunned down, but they took the bullets.
Said that they risked their lives in just making sure the guests were safe.
Friends, General Manager Khan lost his wife and 2 children because he did not have time to go and attend to them. He was helping the guests. 6 chefs lost their life in trying to save the life of those Unilever people, the guests. But none of them tried to escape. See what the Unilever chairman is saying.
We would have made it out of the hotel without the support, the assurance, the constant service orientation that the staff provided, without doubt, which is why we will continue to be so grateful to them.
I can't explain it. There were no manuals, there were no instructions for what should be done under the circumstances. And so what seems to have happened is individuals, from the waiters to the managers of the restaurants, all had this goal of let's get the guests to safety.
Even the chairman of Tata Group had no idea of what sort of an engagement culture had been put into the organization. When employees become engaged, it is a miracle which happens. And that was a miracle which happened at Taj Mahal Palace Hotel on 26th November 2008. This is Rohit Deshpande, the professor of marketing from Harvard Business School. And he is now going to tell us what was the reason, the 3 reasons why this engagement took place.
I decided to go back into the Taj Hotel company records to try to understand their human resource policy. Who were these people? Who were this staff? Where did they find them? How did they recruit them? How did they motivate them? How did they train them? And I learned lots of really, really intriguing things. Let me share, in the interest of time, just 3 of them with you. First, about recruiting. You know, they recruit their frontline employees from high schools, not from the major cities, not from Bombay or Delhi or Calcutta or Madras. They recruit them from small towns, Haldia, Chandigarh, Nashik, Tiruchirappalli, small towns. And they recruit students, graduating students, for attitude, not grades. They ask their headmasters or their teachers, who are the students that you teach who have the most respect for older people, for their parents, for the teachers? They're not looking for the students who do the best in grades, but rather for attitude. Then training. This is fascinating. You know, you've heard of brand ambassadors. Lots of companies, many organizations perhaps that you represent, train their frontline staff to be ambassadors for the brand, for the company. You know what they do at the Taj hotels? They train their frontline employees to be ambassadors for the customer, for the guest. It's very different. It's counterintuitive. They call them guest ambassadors. They believe frontline employees should be the voice of the client, of the customer, of the guest to the company. And third, and perhaps most importantly, their motivation system, their reward system, incentives, is not just monetary. They pay about average, little above average in that hotel sector in India. But they reward people with recognition, personal recognition. So when an employee does something that delights customers and the guest writes a note, within 48 hours that employee is recognized. 48 hours. They don't have to wait for a Diwali or a Christmas bonus. It happens within 48 hours. Amazing. In fact, they won the International Hermes Award for an innovation in human resource management for this.
This is what created the partnership. The recognition for the people. Second thing is, there is a very, very important message here. Why did Dr. Rohit Deshpande say that the people were selected from small cities and not from very big cities? Recently, there was an article in Forbes, an interview of Mr. Vembu, who is the chairman of Zoho Corp. He has shifted to Tenkasi, a small village, in the outskirts of, outskirts of Tirunelveli, which is a small town in Tamil Nadu. There he has started his corporate office, and he is starting corporate office in rural India because he feels that the people from these rural places have got better attitude than city folks. City folks are highly motivated, true, but they are all turning out to be lone wolves, looking only after their personal interest. And these small city folks have a better attitude towards the organization, towards elders. They have greater respect, and they are more open to be molded into organization people. Zoho Corps is today proving again the same thing what Tata unknowingly had done before 2008. Let's go on to the next.
They decided to go back into
expectations. This is another very important thing. Now let us see. What are you seeing here? What does this signify? Can anyone tell me?
Shifting goalposts, sir.
Correct. This is the biggest problem which people face. Our subordinates, if you ask them, what is it that they most dislike about us? It is shifting goalposts. If my wife tells me, bring home something for dinner, and I show up with a dosa and she's disappointed, she doesn't have much room to complain. Why? Why doesn't she have much room to complain? Can anyone tell me? Enlighten me?
She didn't specify what she wants.
Huh?
it was not specified what was wanted.
Absolutely. The more specific one is in making a request, the more likely the request will be met. How specific are we in telling our subordinate what exactly we want? Supervisors who get frustrated with employees for not performing as expected have often failed to set clear expectations. If we want our expectations to be fulfilled, if we want an engaged employee, if we want a performing employee, I think we should make our expectations very clear. It does not mean that we are not doing it. It only means that if we want something, this is what we need to do.
Mr. Arun, can I request you to go to the previous slide just once more?
This one?
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. The more specific one is in making a request, the more likely the request will be met. Managers who get frustrated with employees for not performing as expected have often failed to set clear expectations. And what could be the reason for that? Possibly because they were not very clear about what they want themselves. Employees want to get it right, and when they don't, you should assume that it is due to miscommunication or insufficient resources rather than apathy, laziness, or stupidity. We are very fast to attribute lack of seriousness, honesty, ability to the reason why it has not been achieved. People don't like to fail. We are just not wired that way. There are currently 45 people here in this Zoom meeting. Will the person who goes to office every day to fail please raise his hand? There are no hands being raised. What does that mean? Ask yourself, when was the last time that you either purposefully failed or felt good about failing? If we don't purposefully fail, or if we don't feel good about failing, why should we think that our subordinate is purposefully failing or he is feeling good about failing? There are 10 clear things we should do if we want our subordinates to match up to our expectation. Tell him clearly the description of the job that you want him to do. This job description is not that job description. This is the description of the work that you want him to do. Specify the goal and objective of it. Please explain to him how the end goal will look. What is the objective of achieving that end goal? So that there is total clarity in his mind. Explain how you are going to measure it. How you are going to measure that performance. What metrics you are going to put into place. There should be no ambiguity. Then practice written communication. Put it in writing so that tomorrow there is no ambiguity as to what you told him. There should be no ambiguity. Put it in writing. Check for his understanding. Tell him to repeat. It is normally a good practice to tell our team members to repeat back to us the instruction that we have given to ensure that there is clarity and we both are on the same page. If I tell someone that I want him, if I tell my driver that tomorrow morning at 5 o'clock, please come and pick me up, I have a flight at 6, then I should ask him, can you please repeat to me what exactly I told you? He should repeat the same thing that, sir, I have to be here to pick you up at 5 o'clock so that you can catch the flight at 6. Check for understanding. Decide on the milestones. Supposing you are giving him a work which is going to take time, put milestones to ensure that the progress can be monitored by both of you. At the failure of the achievement of the first milestone, you should be in a position to intervene and have a feed-forward session so that the second milestone will take into account the completion of the first milestone also. Only then the final objective will be achieved. Ensure buy-in. Please understand from him whether he has the resources, the ability, and the willingness to do this. If there is any doubt, this is the place where he has to express it so that it can be addressed. There is a possibility that he might come up with some sort of an alternative suggestion or alternate pathway at this place, which will be more to his convenience. Consider that and see whether the process can be customized. Compare expectations. You have a particular expectation from the outcome. Find out what his expectation from the outcome is. Compare your expectations. Strategize to bridge the gap, this expectation between you and him. Try to find out how the gap can be bridged between these two. Finally, plan a review periodicity so that as the work is being conducted, you can review the progress and take the corrective measures through, again, a feed-forward mechanism. Any questions?
Yes, can you explain point 7 again? Ensure buy-in.
Ensure buy-in is that person should be convinced that he can do it. You see, oftentimes people give a roadmap and then they start making excuse that they could not do this because of this reason and that reason. Once the milestones have been decided and you ask him whether he is feeling comfortable with the process and the milestones or whether he would like to consider any modification to it, or he feels there is a better way of doing it, he is likely to come up with a suggestion, keeping his convenience, his ability, and his willingness to do it. That is the place where you have to compare your expectation and his expectation and strategize to bridge the gap. This is a process, which takes both of you to, the involvement of both individuals in a very positive manner. Is it clear, Mr. Kalro?
Yeah, very, very clear. Thank you.
Any other questions?
I don't have any.
Okay. Now, consideration. This is a very important aspect of creating an engaged organization. Oftentimes, we hide behind the statement, this is company policy. What do we mean exactly by that? We mean, I find your request inconvenient. That is what it means. We are not willing to take the strain. See this. Praveen was living and working in Arepuram. Incidentally, this is a real life situation which happened, only the names have been changed for convenience. Praveen was living and working in Arepuram. Her mother Nazma was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. She was being treated in Adayar Cancer Research Institute. Nazma was living in Mogaper and needed transportation to Adyar Cancer Research Institute every Tuesday and Saturday for 24 weeks. Every Tuesday and Saturday for 24 weeks, she had to visit Adyar Cancer Research Institute for checkup and treatment. And from R.A. Puram, Praveen had to go all the way to Mogaper, which is about, about 20 odd kilometers, and then come all the way to Adyar Cancer, which is again about 18 kilometers, and then go back and drop her mother back at Mogaper, which is again about 18. So she had to travel a distance of about 36 or 56 kilometers. For doing this, she had to leave noon. By afternoon, she had to leave for the round trip to Mogaper, Adyar Cancer. She presented her situation to her boss, who without hesitation told her to take care of her mother. He trusted her to make up the lost hours and never marked her leave or personal time. In Praveen's words, at the most difficult time in my life, I was blessed to have a kind and thoughtful boss who let me know that he cared about me as a person, not just as an employee. Can you imagine how much more engaged she would be with the organization? Consideration is know your employees. How many of us know our employees? How many children they have, what they are doing, at least our immediate subordinates. How many of us are really interested in them? Assign 1 day a month for a one-on-one feedback from them about how they are feeling working in the company. I'm not talking about feed forward here. Let them talk, let them unburden themselves, let them give, empty their feelings to you. An emotional catharsis is the best way of handling grievances. Have a direct and honest communication with them. When you want something done, be honest about it. If there is a bad news to be given, give honest and give it directly. Be respectful when we interrupt. Ask permission. If someone is talking, just may I, a small thing. Supposing someone is working in a desk, the boss comes, gives instruction and goes away. It will take approximately about 2 to 3 more extra seconds if we were to say, excuse me, I have something to say. Are you doing something important? Can I interrupt you? These basic courtesies shows consideration. Because if the person is doing something very important and you come and interrupt, that person's line of thinking or the sequence of working gets disturbed. It is an inconvenience to that person. When you show this basic consideration, you will earn the respect of that individual. Encourage personal workspace. Like we were talking about empowerment, cultural empowerment. Encourage that person to have a personal workspace. Let them do whatever they want. Let them decorate their workplace they want, the way they want. Let them keep whatever personal items they want there. Let it be their domain, their castle, where no one can interfere or dictate. And finally, follow meeting decorum. This is very, very important. Managers are called for meeting and no decorum is maintained. People are not given an opportunity to voice their opinion. Their opinions are not taken into consideration. Halfway as they are talking, they are shut down. Total decorum is lost. How will the person have any sort of a confidence on a team which is not considerate about his opinion, his feelings, and his self-respect? Once we show consideration to our people, we would have created an engaged organization automatically. Sit down and think how many of these things are happening in your organization unknowingly. Once you receive this video, make a checklist and try to address each one of them individually. Darkness is absence of light. There is nothing else called darkness. Disengagement is absence of engagement. If you can do these things, automatically engagement will come and disengagement will be out. These are the 7 drivers. Now we are coming to the 7th and final driver, that is trust. By far the most difficult. What is this? I told about trust, and I'm showing you 2 people dancing. Why? Can anyone tell me?
Because this is tap dance. One person has to fully trust the other person. I mean, it's.
Thank you, Christiana. I learned something today. I didn't know this was tap dance.
No, I'm not sure though whether it's ballet or tap. So
see, what it signifies is that it takes 2 to tango. You know, trust requires at least 2 people.
Yeah. Perfect synchronization.
And you see, one of them has to lead it. And who has to lead the trust behavior? The leader has to lead the trust behavior. Building a trusting relationship is the responsibility of the boss, not the subordinate. We saw in the beginning slide itself, when the session started, that the fish was tentative. It was suspicious of the bait. The fisherman had to be patient and perseverant. Only then he could hook the fish up. Similarly, the boss will have to be patient and perseverant. Only then he will be able to build a trusting relationship with his subordinate, and only when there is trust between the various members of an organization will the organization be an engaged organization. Let us see what are the various aspects. Keep your word. It's very simple. When you give a word, keep it. If you say you will come at 10, come at 10. If you say you will attend to this work tomorrow at 4 o'clock, attend to the work tomorrow at 4 o'clock. If you say I will reply back to you to this letter on the 3rd, reply back to the letter on the 3rd. Follow through on your promises and commitments, including things that may seem extremely small. It need not be something very big. Even the smallest of things, ensure that you keep your word. Admit your mistake. When you make a mistake, admit it. To err is human, to forgive divine. You will make mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. Don't make an ego issue out of it. Don't try to justify. Don't try to make excuses. Just simply accept it and be done with it, and see to it that you don't do it again. Give credit where credit is due. Please understand, if your team performs, you perform. It is not the credit which is going to take you places. It is performance which is going to take you places. Your biodata is not going to talk of your credit. It is going to talk of your performance. And the more you give credit to your people, the more they will perform for you, more your career will grow. Take the bullet. Something goes wrong. You can take up the matter with him separately. But to the management, you are his brand ambassador. Shield him. People can make mistakes. Shield him so that his impression to the top management is safe. He will bless you for it. He will be a slave forever. He will work for you. Be straight. When you have a bad or sensitive news to deliver, do so in as sincere and as straightforward a manner as possible. Don't beat around the bush. People are too wise to understand the sandwich philosophy. They know. Don't try to pull a fast one on them. Be transparent with your intentions. Be open and transparent. The greater the trust and respect the employees will have for you. Don't try to sugarcoat anything. Don't try to put the blame for what you want on the organizational policy. Many a time, managers do this. They want him to do something, then say, "Nahi, nahi, yaar, this is company policy." Don't do that. People can see through it. Communicate. In fact, if necessary, over-communicate, but don't under-communicate. Be proactive with your communication. Keep the person aware of the happenings, the possibilities, but don't indulge in gossip. Communicating means not gossiping. Maintain confidentiality. When somebody tells you something, maintain that confidentiality. Don't talk about X to Y. Don't talk about Y to X. If you have to talk to Y about X, praise X to Y. Praise Y to X. But praise only that which requires praise, because please understand, your subordinates exchange notes about you. They exchange notes about the boss. Be very careful. Don't try to exaggerate. Don't try to say things which are not correct. And don't at any cost talk about one person to other. When you come and talk to me about another person, what's going on in my mind is, now this fellow will go and talk about me to that fear I will have, so I will lose trust on you. I will never tell you anything. Policy audit. If you find there is some policy which is not in keeping with the betterment of the organization, please take up with the necessary authorities and try to get it removed. It will serve you in good stead. The top management, the policy makers, might not be aware of all the negative shortcomings of all the policies that are there in the organization. They put the policies in good faith. It is up to the line managers and the middle management to take up these matters with the top management and explain to them how it is being counterproductive. Try to work towards getting these removed in a very, very honest and transparent manner. Revise or eliminate as many unnecessary policies as possible. The less rules, the greater discipline. More rules means you don't trust your people to do the right thing by the organization. Increase autonomy. Demonstrate your trust in your employees' skill and judgment by increasing the autonomy they have in decision making and in their functioning. Allow them job crafting. Let them do the job the way they want, which gives them greater pride, greater relational crafting, and greater cognitive crafting. Ask and act. Take feedback. Ask your employees suggestion before taking a decision about them. Don't take a decision on them without discussing with them, however pleasant or unpleasant it may be. And finally, whenever they come to you with a problem, kindly repeat the problem as you have understood to them. One of the biggest worries subordinates have is when they communicate their problem to their bosses, they feel the bosses might not have understood it. And they hesitate to repeat it again, but it gnaws in their mind. Kindly play back the problem they tell you and get concurrence that you have understood it correctly. Any questions, friends?
No, I don't have any.
Clear, sir.
Clear point.
Yes, Mr. Anand, you have unmuted.
Sir, I said it's clear.
Yeah. So the 7 drivers for engagement in your organization are recognition. Recognize your employees immediately after they do something good. Ensure that you are specific in your recognition. You are near them or face to face. They can see you when you do that and be enthusiastic about it. empower them, allow them to plan the CTC which you have decided for them, give them economic power, give them, political right to be a part of the decision regarding their career, allow them cultural space, allow them to have a work-life balance by helping them empowered societally. Practice feed forward so that acrimonious confrontational situations are avoided, so that judgmental behavior is avoided in the organization. People are focused on solutions and not on problems. Problems will vanish the more you think of solutions, the more you focus on solutions, because what you focus will multiply. If you focus on problems, problems will multiply. If you focus on solutions, solutions will multiply. Partnering will ensure that everybody will develop a sense of ownership about the organization, and they will be even willing to lay down their life for the organization. Ensure that the expectations, your expectations, the organization's expectations are clearly defined to your team members. Get their buy-in. Create the roadmap. Put milestones. Review periodically and practice the feed-forward system to realign at every review. Be considerate for your employee. As much, like that Bible quotation says, do unto others as you would, they would do unto you. You want consideration, you give consideration. And finally, trust people. Nobody is joining a company or a team to cheat it. The more you trust them, the more they will behave trustworthily. Friends, it does not matter what the size of your organization is today, at what position you are in your career.
Mr. Arun, sorry,
yes,
sorry for the interruption. Can you please go to the previous slide once more, please?
Yes, sure, sir. Is this the one you are telling about?
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
The 7 drivers.
It does not matter what is the size of your organization or in what position you are at this current moment. A team of engaged employees can definitely ensure that you manifest the company or the career of your dreams. Friends, I am available to you for the next 3 months or even after that. If you have any doubt or any clarification required from me, within the next 2 days, we will send you the video recording. Please go through it and contact me. My number is known to you, 93840-97866. Please contact me. I will definitely extend whatever support or clarification that you seek. My best wishes to you. I'm extremely sorry for having taken so much of your time, and I sincerely hope you have benefited out of these 4 days of time that you have given to me. Thank you and all the best.
Thank you.
If you have got any questions,
effort for spending more time than what is being planned for. That is really, we have learned a lot, and we are very, very thankful for the entire session, what you have taken us through, sir. Thanks a ton.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you, Arun. Thank you, BP.
Thank you very much. Really engaged this 4 days.
Thank you very
it
much.
was nice
Thank
being
you
with
very
all
much,
of you.
Arun sir.
Bye.
Yeah.
Good night. Good
Well,
night.
thank
All the
you.
best.
Good
all
night,
the
folks.
Good night, sir. Good night.
Good night. Everyone.
Good night.
Any question any one of you have, you can ask me one-on-one anytime you want. Just pick up your phone. And if any of you